What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. I am Sam, and that is Mike, currently tuned into the Cubs game. So if he zones out, you know why. Currently wearing a jersey of somebody who's about to be traded in a fire sale.
Javi, I love you, but
or we'll get a massive extension that Mike doesn't want.
Please.
So
I love you, but it's time to move on, Javi.
So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation for Mike in a way, I guess. I don't know where he stands on that, but
yeah. Endless pain and suffering on every single day of my life.
Actually, speaking of baseball, I just want to take time to ask the question at the very beginning of this video. Would you guys have any interest at all, drop in the comments about us talking about other sports? We've been thinking about it. There's a lot of other stuff going on that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like the NBA draft and finals, which Game 6 is currently happening as we speak.
Yeah.
The NBA draft coming up. MLB is like at the halfway point at the trade deadline. Nobody gives a flying damn about the NHL. I'm sorry if you do. You might be like a new Kraken fan waiting to watch their draft. Nobody cares.
We don't care.
The NHL is irrelevant.
We do not care.
Just feel free to drop that in the comments below. If you would like to see us talk about like if you guys wanted to see us do like a NBA video, like an NBA mock draft, just something light, something fun to settle you guys in, let us know in the comments below, or we can make a whole different channel.
Yeah. Well, and on the topic of baseball, I mean, I guess today's video kind of has a little bit to do with baseball.
A little bit. It's taken from baseball.
Yeah, it's the same concept. So, I mean,
yeah.
You want to jump right into it.
Today is like a new video type that we're calling the Ramble discussion. We're just going to be going to a place where no real destination.
Yeah.
Talking about should the NFL have a developmental league and how they could make it work.
Right.
So, Mike, I just want to begin with like real off the top. Do you think it's logical for the NFL to have a developmental league, say the minor league in the MLB or the G League in the NBA?
Well, I think if the NFL is going to have a developmental league, I think it would be more similar to like the NBA G League, because if you think about Major League Baseball, you know, new draft prospect, you get drafted, you go to the minors. Like nobody gets drafted and goes straight to the majors, whereas in NBA, NFL, you get drafted, you play right away, right? Or you're on the team right away. And also in Major League Baseball, you know, some of the guys in the minors are veteran players who aren't that good. Some of them are really young. Some of them, you know, are just kind of there to be injury replacements if somebody in the majors got brought up. So I think if the developmental league would come to the NFL, it'd be more similar to the G League. But I would really like to see the concept of like calling people up. You call it like going to the show. I think that would be really cool for somebody in, you know, the NFL minor leagues or whatever we're going to call it. You know, injury happens or if they've been playing really good to call them up. I think that's a really cool concept that football could adopt that I don't necessarily see so much with the NBA. It's definitely way more common with baseball. But I think it would be awesome.
I think like, you know, that idea of having a guy getting drafted, going straight to the minors and watching him kind of grow is interesting to me. Yeah. I think it's a very fun thing to do. And I imagined so I was thinking like, what would it entail to have, say, one extra 53-man roster where they play games against other teams? So say they have one extra 53 of players. So you have that bang, bang, simple, right?
Yep.
Well, something that it would likely entail is adding 3+ rounds to the draft. I think that would be kind of like a baseline. Yeah. Because you would need so much extra talent. And I really hate the idea of like an undrafted guy out of like a Division II school coming in and like just he's built for the job. He could be good. But since he's in Division III and he's not great, he hasn't flashed anything, nobody's ever going to take a shot on him because they only have so many spots and there's only like 10 roster, like practice squad spots, which in my opinion isn't enough on its own. So
and you make a good point. Like those guys who come in, they're undrafted, they're from a small school, they're nobodies. They don't get reps. They'll get 5 reps at practice. If they mess up one, they're cut, right? So again, the developmental league would be a great way to kind of showcase their talents
Mm-hmm.
Again, very similar to like what the G League is,
Yeah.
getting reps. One thought that I've had about the developmental league in football is we already kind of have a system in place with the XFL. It's supposed to be coming back.
Yeah, and I was actually going to touch on that later, but like I think it would make a lot of sense for the NFL to like slide in with like a collab idea.
Yeah,
That
was my point that I was gonna make is like a
yeah.
collab. The problem is though the XFL plays during the spring, or at least they've played. I assume they're still gonna play during the spring when Dwayne Johnson brings it back. Yeah. So that kind of gets rid of the whole idea of like calling people up and all that.
And the whole thing also is that like most of the guys in the XFL are guys who have tried in the NFL, have failed, and then are there. I think another really cool idea would be allowing younger players to enter their name into the NFL draft.
Like high school guys?
Not high school. High school is too early. Like I'm talking like sophomores.
So lower the age of
lower lower the age. The minimum usually like Tremaine Edmonds, who has like a super weird birthday, came in and he was 20, but he was a junior in college at Virginia Tech.
Wasn't Juju like 19 or something?
Wasn't he super young? I don't think so. I can look it up.
I think he was really, really young. But anyway, so
yeah, but like, yeah, I think that would also be interesting because one thing that kind of shoots down the whole idea of having like a minor league similar to the MLB in the NFL is that in the MLB, age doesn't matter as much as it does. Really, like Nelson Cruz, if you guys, once again, going on the baseball topic here, Nelson Cruz for the Minnesota Twins. Dude's like 41 and he's still hitting like 35 bombs a year. Like Nelson Cruz is kind of a different breed of human, if you know. I'm sure if you guys are a Seahawks fan, you're also a Mariners fan, you therefore know who Nelson Cruz is. I would just assume.
Right.
So, like, Nelson Cruz, that's, like.
Yeah. It's just like, about it being a non-contact sport.
Yeah. Really. And something also where, like, what if you have like a super developmental guy? Like a guy who's totally a raw prospect. You don't know if he's good or bad. He's 6'5", built like a goddamn gorilla, and he's gonna come in, and you're gonna give him a chance in the minor leagues. Like that's
built like a goddamn
dude. Gorillas are scary. Look up a picture of a gorilla. Gorillas are scary.
I know they're massive.
They're always like flex. They're always like big square shoulders, huge chest. Like arms ripped, just like
So, okay, my, I guess, big question is, so let's just say we have an NFL developmental league that is separate from the XFL. The issue, I think, would be, so right now the NFL roster size during the season is 53, but during training camp and stuff, you could have 90. So realistically, that's like 37. Jeez, wow, I can't believe I graduated. 37 guys that were on the training camp roster, but not on the active roster, right?
Yeah.
So realistically, we could probably fill out enough players to make a team. You have 27 guys from each team. Then you have other free agents. You have all this stuff. You could realistically fill out the roster.
And like, I think it would be awesome to have something where like, even like a veteran who you sign, a guy who's like 30. Something that happens a lot is guys will have a bad year and they fall out of the league.
Right.
Example, Des Bryant kind of got cut from Dallas.
Yeah.
Then did not play. Like randomly just didn't play. Then Baltimore gives him like a random chance. Doesn't play really at all. But I think it'd be awesome to have a guy like a Des who's like low 30s. He's been there, done that, right?
Yeah.
You put him there, you could say, okay, if you put up so-and-so yards through the first half of the developmental season, we're going to call you up. We're going to give you a chance because we know that you're there and you're ready to. So, like it's always tough to just be like, all right, we're going to sign you despite not knowing how you're going to play at this age and not knowing where you're going to be at.
That's a good point. A lot of old vets who are coming into new teams, you could sign them and be, hey, we're going to give you this amount of money. You're going to stay in the developmental league. If you're good there, we're going to bring you up. If not, we're going to cut you. So
yeah.
I think the developmental league provides a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. So why don't we
Mm-hmm.
kind of really quick go through pros and cons?
Yeah,
So
pros. It would. I feel like it would be very entertaining for fans, personally, just because twice the amount of football. You can broadcast. You can broadcast games on local TV, or maybe even have like one like NFL Network national game, national broadcasting game here and there. Just like watch it. I've been getting into baseball recently. I've been really working at that, and like something that I've really enjoyed in the new experience is being able to look at like a list of prospects and like who ranks number one, and then everybody else. So like there's like Wander Franco, who's I believe a shortstop or like second baseman for the Rays. Yeah. He's the number one prospect in baseball right now. When he got called up, that was huge news. People were like, Wander Franco's up. This dude's a stud. He's gonna ball out. It would be awesome to like be sitting around and have your team's like number one prospect get called up and you're like, let's go. That's the guy. This is the guy. Once again, it's a little different because I feel like the NFL is such an interesting sport. It's such a complex sport to the point where like,
well, one thing I wonder, and this is completely hypothetical, you could shut this down. I'm going to use the Bears as an example here. The Bears just drafted Justin Fields, and they currently have Andy Dalton, who they say is going to be their starter. What if, instead of just having him ride the bench for the first 5, 6, 7, 8 games of the year, they stick Justin Fields in the developmental league. They have Andy Dalton start for the Bears in the majors. Andy Dalton after week 8 is whatever. Justin Fields had all this time in the minors to learn the playbook, to get set, to do this. Obviously, the competition would be much better when he got to the majors, but he's playing. You know, he's not sitting on his butt doing nothing. And I understand there's more to it. But hypothetically speaking, you know, if your quarterback is doing really good in the minor leagues and he's the number 5 ranked prospect, when the number 5 ranked prospect gets called up, I mean, that's really exciting. That means, you know, your quarterback is going to play. Because Wander Franco, I mean, he's going to be, the Rays fan hope, at least anyway, he's going to be their shortstop for 5-10 years minimum, right? Mm-hmm. When your quarterback gets called up, he's going to be your quarterback for 5-10 years minimum. So I think
that's a good point. That's a good point.
I feel like
I would like that.
That would be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
that would be good because, like, you know, in the MLB, like you said, nobody gets drafted and comes in the league their rookie year.
I will give an example even. My favorite player, personally, Nico Horner, was drafted 2018 first round, played 90 minor league games, and then was called up. And it was considered an emergency scenario that Nico Horner got called up because Javi was hurt, Addison Russell was a wife beater, and we had another guy get injured. Like, we had to call up Nico Horner to literally fill out our roster. And he played 90 games. Like, it's not like he never played a minor league game. He played 90 games. So that just shows how, you know, long guys really sit in the minors, that 90 games is considered, you know, nothing. It was like a break glass in case of emergency scenario. So kind of crazy thing.
I think I'm a Red Sox fan personally. We have a guy who we recently called up, Tanner Houck. He's a starting pitcher. He's like 24. I think he spent like 3 or 4 years in the minors. That's another example of a guy who, like, you let him marinate. Like, you let him do anything, and then he'll eventually grow as a player. But like you said with Justin Fields, you wonder if there's a situation where bring in a first-round rookie, like, especially if you're like a playoff team, and maybe it's a first-round rookie, like the Buccaneers, right? They have
Kyle Trask, 100%.
Yeah, Kyle Trask. But I was going to talk about their first-round pick, Joe, I believe, Tyron out of Washington. I've never really learned how to say his name.
Yeah.
The defensive end. That was a pick for the future because, like, JPP's getting older, Sue's getting older. That was a pick for the future because they have no immediate needs.
Right.
It would be like really dope to be like, okay, he can't start yet. It's okay. We'll send him down to the minors. You have to make it so that though, like, he will not count against your roster size while he's in the minors. Exactly. Like, you know, he'll be like a you know when you put players on IR and they don't count against your roster?
Yeah.
It would be something like that kind of.
Oh, are you kidding me? I think young quarterbacks especially would benefit. Kellen Mond would love the idea of the minor leagues.
Davis Mills,
Jordan Love, assuming
Jordan Love. That is the best example possible. He didn't play a game last year. He didn't suit up for a game.
Right.
Not even as a backup.
Assuming Aaron Rodgers comes back, the minors would be absolutely perfect for Jordan Love. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, because Jordan Love is such a raw prospect.
Right.
Green Bay picked him as an example. There was a report that came out today. Green Bay tried to offer Aaron Rodgers an extension this offseason that would have him be there for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Therefore, saying that Jordan Love they do not want Jordan Love to be the quarterback
right now at least.
Soon.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where you would stick a guy in the minor leagues for who knows how long.
But
the whole point of the minor leagues, you're not trying to have your AAA team win the World Series. You're trying to have your guys develop as best as they can and become the best baseball, basketball, football players they can, so that when they get up to the major leagues, I'll give another example. My own Chicago Cubs. Maybe I'm a bit of a homer here. Patrick Wisdom. He's kind of old, man. He's a rookie this year. He's in his late 20s. He's been in the minor leagues for a very long time. When he first got to the minor leagues, he was not good. Well, he wasn't not good, but he was very raw. He cooked, came up to the majors this year, and he's really, really good. So I think that there's a lot of guys, especially young guys, who maybe play a year or maybe they don't make the roster and then their career's just over and they never get that chance to showcase their talents.
Yeah, I thought about it. What if there's a situation where you draft a first-round player, right?
Yeah.
Deemed a project. You put him in the majors for 2 years. He sucks, and you cut or trade him.
Sam Darnold.
What if that was a situation? Like you have a guy, let's say you draft, example, bland name, Bob Jones. You draft Bob Jones. He's 21 years old, coming out of Texas, 6'6", 285 at a defensive end. That's a nice build. You'd love that build as defensive end. But he has never had a sack in his college career, and he only started 3 games.
Yep.
You send him down to the minors for 2 years, no production, nothing happens. You could be like, okay, we failed.
Yep.
This is not the guy. He has not grown at all. He hasn't shown signs that he can grow. We're just going to let him go.
Right.
But that would be kind of like a jerky situation, you know. Like,
and don't get me wrong, guys like Trevor Lawrence would not go to the minor leagues. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to start week 1.
He would be different from the MLB.
Yeah. And it's really depending on situation. So you wouldn't have to call guys to the minor leagues. But again, I think for some people it could really, really help them out. Rookies especially, old vets who are looking to get back in the league and like prove it. Really anybody who's just not gotten their shot yet. I think this is great for the sport of football. I mean, okay, Adam Thielen, for those of you who don't know, undrafted, went to a D3 podunk school nobody's ever heard of, you know, is white. Not that that's relevant, but
I think it was like Minnesota Whitewater or something like that. It was a very small,
some no name school.
A school in Minnesota.
Right.
Probably the only reason why he made the Vikings.
He didn't get invited to the combine, didn't get a draft invite, none of that. Went to a private workout with the Vikings. They're like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Brought him on training camp. He did really, really well in training camp. Obviously, Adam Thielen's a stud. Imagine how many Adam Thielens there are out there that haven't got their shot, that didn't impress at that one private workout, that got him a spot on the training camp, that got him a spot on the active roster, that got them to be a superstar wide receiver. Like, imagine how many people are that good and can become that great player, but just haven't got their opportunity. That's what the minor leagues would do, is they would unlock a lot of those opportunities for players and to showcase their talents. And so for some players, it would take 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But, you know, if you keep getting better and better and better and better and better, and you're developing, the minor leagues could be a very good thing for you.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and finish.
No, I was pretty much done.
All right, so, like, I thought about it. Minor league is for players. Hear me out. Minor league could be great for young coaches as well.
Ooh.
Let's say you have a young assistant on your team, 28, like a Sean McVay, comes in the league, young, fresh out of college, has a lot of potential. You say, okay, we're going to make you the head coach of our minor league team.
Yeah.
go ahead, do what you want. If you want to say, okay, show what you have. You do you. We're not going to step in. All we ask is for you to use our playbook. You call the plays. You make roster decisions. That's all up to you.
Right.
That could be a legitimate, great opportunity for young coaches to prove that they have talent and have longevity potential in the NFL.
Right.
And it's especially hard for coaches to make their way up in the NFL because, once again, the NFL is a very different sport from baseball and basketball.
Right.
Baseball, very few assistants in baseball. There's like maybe what you would say, like
a lot of managers are not, there's not a lot of young managers. A lot of managers are pretty old.
Yeah, like most managers that get hired have some other experience being a manager
you're either old,
somewhere else.
Like you're either, I feel like for the most part, you're either old or you're like an ex-player. Or both.
Like with the Cubs current.
Yeah, manager. David Ross is an ex-player. Our previous manager, Joe Madden, is old. Like a lot of guys are old or ex-players. But in football, I feel like it's a lot of young gurus, offensive geniuses. I think I saw a stat the other day, and last year was the youngest combined year ever for head coaches or something like that. Or like one of these years was or whatever. But the coaches are getting younger, and they're bringing new innovative ideas. And again, you want to talk about, developing ideas. Maybe there's a particular scheme they want to try out, and they don't want to do it in the NFL just yet. They try in the minor leagues.
That's another great point.
They said, they said, remember, like in 2012 and 2012, 2013, when read option was huge. There was a read option every 5 plays in the NFL. That came from college. When 2010, 2011, read option got huge. So they saw that in college. They said, hey, we're going to try it in the NFL. Imagine what they could do in the minor leagues and then try to bring over to the league. So I think there's a lot of really, really good potential here.
Yeah, I think it might even be better potential for the coaches because before, like, I was kind of adding on like Joe Ross and even Alex Cora for the Red Sox, which is my team. Both former players, both retired, both came in and both managers. So, like, and you rarely see former players become coaches in the NFL, which is interesting because there's a lot of former players who are head coaches in the NBA as well. There's Jason Kidd, there's Steve Nash, there's I'm blanking on a couple. I'll probably look it up in a second. But like, I think about it. Chauncey Billups, that's another one. For the Trailblazers now.
Yep.
But
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, like, he's like the example. Played with the Bulls.
Guy from Space Jam.
Yeah, played with the guy from Space Jam, that bald dude who
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, forgot his name.
Anyway, so I think we've done a good job of going over like the pros.
It's really, the pros are just more entertainment for fans and awesome development ideas.
Opportunity, development.
Yeah, those kind of guys. Maybe even if you love the draft, an extension, like an extra 3 rounds.
And I guess
could also be nice for you.
I think one area that's like a pro and a con would be finances, because I think they could make some money off of it, but I don't know if they would make profit off of the minor league itself. Obviously, the NFL is going to make profit, but I don't know if the minor leagues would make profit. Like, maybe you want to get a Justin Fields minor league jersey or something like that. I don't know, but I don't really see the minor leagues making too much profit. But what else? And the contract situations will get tricky. But what I would suggest is, if we're being honest, people in the minor leagues for baseball don't make money. They don't make a lot of money. So I would say that the salaries would have to be very low. And there would be some guys who, again, like rookie quarterbacks, drafted, they get $30 million, and then they play a little bit in the minor leagues. So, like, those guys are making money, but a lot of the veterans, unknown guys are probably going to be making very little, but very little is better than nothing, right? And I think in order to play games, I think the logistics of it, they would either have to do one of two things. They would either have to partner with local high schools. I mean, there's some high schools with really nice stadiums. You have to partner with like local high schools or local colleges to play, because obviously they're not going to build new stadiums for the minor league teams. And the travel would kind of suck and like the food and everything, but I feel like there's enough potential there to where it's worth the financial investment that the NFL would make, because I feel like the end result would net, obviously, it would be net positive in my opinion. So outside of finances, can you really think of a negative? Maybe like
you said with finances, the revenue drop would likely affect salary cap, since you have to put more money into, keeping players up. You don't necessarily have to give minor league teams themselves a salary cap, but you'd have to obviously give them like hotels, flights, uniforms, cleats. You have to pay team managers. You'd have to like health people and all that. And so it'd probably just drag down the salary cap, which, I mean, we had a year with a down salary cap, and I think it was kind of fine, honestly. But I looked it up. I looked it up. And there's a couple other players who are former. There's a couple other coaches who are former players that we did not mention. There is Luke Walton for the Kings.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah.
Ty Lue. Monty Williams for the Phoenix Suns. Tyronn Lue, as you mentioned. There is Ime Udoka, the new coach for the Celtics. He played a little while, and there's one more. Mark Daigneault, the coach for the Thunder. He played in college, I think. That's kind of it. Oh, and Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers had a lengthy career in the NBA in like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think that the pros outweigh the cons here.
Yeah.
Whether the NFL wants to like buy the XFL and do like 30 expansion teams or something.
That could be another option, because at least they have kind of a system in place already. But then again, the XFL didn't exactly do good. Like the first time around, they bombed. They had one season. Second time around, they were doing better.
Well, they didn't. COVID. Well, you're talking like first XFL. Yeah, they bombed.
Right.
They bombed. But the second XFL, they were doing good.
Yeah. COVID killed them. 100%.
COVID destroyed them. I mean, like they were doing awesome, and like they were legitimately doing good, and then everything fell off. As I'm talking, my friend just texted me a panicked message. If you're a fan of rap, Kanye West just announced his album is dropping this Friday. So that's
Dude, that's so awesome.
I'm excited. Apparently,
that is so freaking awesome.
Watch is gonna drop another year later. But
hey, Certified Lover Boy has still not dropped. I don't know what the deal is. It was done January 6th. Where is it, Drake?
Yeah, bro,
the album chilling in the minor leagues. It's developing. Shut up.
It's developing. Trust me. The NFL will have. I'm calling it out. The NFL will have a minor league team before Certified Lover Boy drops. But
oh my god, that's hilarious.
I think that's a good way to end the video.
I think even better that the NFL will have a minor league team before Kendrick Lamar releases some new music.
Yeah. Before Kendrick Lamar is seen in public again.
I might play in the NFL minor leagues. I might play in the NFL before Kendrick Lamar drops.
Yeah, and Mike has no plans of playing football in college, and he will likely play in the NFL before Kendrick Lamar drops any music, even a snippet.
Defraud Jinx. Kendrick drops tomorrow.
Kendrick drops tomorrow. Surprise drop. I was like, oh my god, Mike! I just need you to say like Seahawks won't win the Super Bowl. I just need you to say that right now. Like
I can't
say it.
Because like I've learned, it's not like I just say. It's like I have to like believe it.
You have to mean it.
I have to mean it, right?
What's something that you mean that might be controversial in sports?
Something like a opinion I have, or like something I think
it is something you think will happen.
I think the Boston Red Sox will win the World Series this year.
Yeah.
Love you, Sam. All right, guys, on that note, we're gonna wrap up.
Anthony Rizzo is already a Red Sox. He's packing his bags at this moment.
He's batting right now. Let's actually see what he does.
I can already. Is that Javi Baez signing a $300 million deal? I can hear the pen. I can hear the pen moving across the table. If you listen very, very closely.
You like that supervillain from Aladdin? Give the poor boy, wait. Shake a poor man's head.
No, I think that's Princess and the Frog.
Oh my God, you're right. Wait, yeah, no. Yeah.
I don't even watch Disney movies.
Yeah, I was literally just in Disney. I feel like a disappointment.
Yeah, Mike, the reason all of our top 10 videos were pre-recorded.
Yeah.
We just got back from vacation, both of us.
Yeah, I was
not on a co-vacation. That'll be coming very soon.
Yeah.
Me and Mike are working out the plans. We're flying out to some sort of
supermodel house. Right.
Somewhere that's cheap enough to afford us. But
my food bill is pretty pricey, so we'll be looking for a while.
We're gonna live off food stamps. Please subscribe so we have money in order to fly.
We're like 782 subscribers away from being monetizable. Please, guys,
that's subscribe button. Share it with your friends and family. And on that note, I'm just gonna segue.
Anthony Rizzo just struck out because you said that, Sam.
And it's
all right.
It's almost like the Red Sox just withdrew their offer. So I can hear it. I can hear Shane Bloom on the phone.
I've actually thought about that before. Like, baseball players get traded mid-game all the time. Imagine like some dude like some team's gonna trade for Javi.
They're discussing it and they're like, "Yep, it's a done deal." Wait, Javi Baez struck out.
Javi like makes an error and they're like,
Hello.
We will catch you guys later. Thanks for listening to us and all of our craziness. Peace out, everybody.